The umpires gathered at home plate. Matt Galante representing Houston and Bill Robinson representing the Mets out there meeting with the umpires while the ground crew is still sprinkling the drying material about the wet areas. But again, to re-emphasize, the tarp has remained down and the infield should be in very good condition, and the pitching mound should also be in very good condition. It is the outfield where the prime worry is. And obviously all morning long and through much of last night, the speculation has been who benefits most from the rainout of yesterday. Well, this morning Tim McCarver sat down with the Houston manager Hal Lanier and talked about it from the Houston perspective. This is what Hal had to say.
Well, if we have any advantage at all, it's having a Nolan Ryan pitching on his the fourth day, getting the rest that he's gotten in between starts, like he did throughout the season. Again, it's only an advantage if we beat the Mets, and Nolan, has a great outing, of course.
And this, of course, is the third game, the third of three scheduled for Shea Stadium, and they will go on back to play inside in Houston in the Astrodome, so the weather will not be a factor there.
Nolan Ryan worked last Thursday night. He was the losing pitcher. He worked 5 innings against the Mets, and he gave up 7 hits and was beaten 5-1 by Bobby Ojeda. The Mets, of course, losing game number 1 and number 4 to Mike Scott and the Astros. And in game 3, Lenny Dykstra's 2-run home run gave the Mets a 2-1 lead, but it was evened on Sunday night. So this a very, very important game, this 5th game, because both teams are tied 2-2. Best 4 out of 7.
The pitching rotation for the remainder of the series, and obviously it could change, particularly with a fellow like the Shea's that is still about, but it looks like it'll be Bob Knepper in game 6, and then if they have to play game 7, Mike Scott. That's the thinking at the present time, whereas the Mets will come back with lefty Bob Ojeda. He will be in the game number 6 and the 7th game for the New York Mets. The starter figures to be Ron Darling. A lot of empty seats as the people who have the tickets for today's game have been a little slow to come, or else they've just simply stayed in their cars or someplace out of the weather. And now they are beginning to come into Shea Stadium, and the crowds have been over 55,000 in each of the 2 games that we have played. So let's now run down the batting order for the Houston Astros as they are scheduled to come up and face Dwight Gooden in today's ball game. He career-wise is 8-1 against the Astros. Bill Doran leads off playing second base. Bill Hatcher will be in center field. Bill is batting in the number 2 spot. And Denny Walling hits third with Gooden, the right-hander, on the mound. Hal Lanier goes to his left-handed third baseman who hits left-handed, Denny Walling. Glenn Davis, of course, remains in the cleanup spot, the first baseman. He has the home run that won the first ball game to his personal history. Kevin Bass will be in right field, batting in the number 5 spot. Bass, a couple of doubles, 4 for 13 in the series. Jose Cruz. Jose has been relatively quiet so far at the bat in the series. He's 3 for 15 and no long balls with 1 run batted in. He bats 6th, and Alan Ashby, the catcher, moves into the number 7 spot today. Ashby, who had the second chance home run the other day to win a ball game for the Houston Astros after Santana failed to make a catch that he called night off of along the railing down there in the temporary stands. He failed to make the catch, and Ashby then at 3-2 knocked it out. Craig Reynolds will be at shortstop today, and of course Craig Reynolds almost had a pair of horns hung on him because of a critical error that he made the other day in a ball game, and it was an error that had some bearing on the outcome of the game that the Mets won. And of course the pitcher Nolan Ryan will be hitting in the number 9 position. Now, looking back over this lineup to give you an idea, no one really damaged Dwight Gooden, with the possible exception of Craig Reynolds, a shortstop. He went 2 for 3, but nobody else in that Houston order really did a heck of a lot of damage to Dwight Gooden except for the first baseman Glenn Davis, who hit the home run.
Only run scored in the ball game. Gooden gave up 7 hits. And I guess you might add that the Astros had a ton of chances to score. They stranded 8 in 7 innings against Gooden. And the reason that they didn't score is that Mike Scott stranded 7 of those 8.
Yep, he had a great chance to help himself and couldn't deliver. Now, The other thing that is going to be obvious to you, what with a right-hander on the mound, it inserts Dykstra and Backman at the top of the order, and those two are considered the catalysts for this ball club. So Nolan Ryan will come out and pitch to the first three people in the order, all being left-handers. And then, of course, the number 5 hitter will be Darryl Strawberry, who is also going to be hitting left-handed. So having Dykstra and Backman out there, the Mets field will be to their advantage.
They have strengthened their offense as the Houston Astros have strengthened their pitching staff.
Again, let's go to the videotape now as Tim McCarver talked with the New York Mets pitching coach Mel Stottlemyre earlier on in the day when the rain was falling. And here is part of their conversation relative to Dwight Gooden and the New York staff.
So far, Tim, it really won't have an effect at all on our staff. But I think if we get another day's rain, then I'll have to look at it and see what effect it'll have. But I'll have to make some adjustments. Certainly, I'll have to throw all the guys in the bullpen that haven't done any throwing for the last couple of days, for sure. And the other thing, I'll be a little bit concerned with Doc Gooden having too much rest, because today would be perfect if we can play today. If we get another day's rain, I'll be a little bit concerned.
Tim, I'm not sure that everybody understands just exactly what is meant when you say Dwight Gooden with the extra day of rest might be too strong.
Rhythm and timing is as much a part of hitting and pitching as strength and talent. It's all involved in that talent. And when a pitcher is used to working with 4 days rest every outing of the season, and he is thrown off that schedule, well, then he could be too strong, and by being too strong, he may have a tendency to throw the ball too hard and be too high in the strike zone. Of course, Gooden is more effective upstairs than he is downstairs.
Well, he's on his way to the mound in Game 5 of the 1986 National League Championship Series. And let's set the New York Mets defensively for you now as Dwight Gooden goes to the mound. Doing the catching again is Gary Carter. And the one thing about Gary, his bat has been so silent. He's 1 for 17. The outer defense will be Wilson, Dykstra, Strawberry. Inside, Hernandez, Backman, Santana, and Knight. If you get off into foul ground after they had rolled the tarps off, obviously they brought water with them, and that foul ground area just outside the baseline can be treacherous because there was so much water not only rained on but dumped on it.
I think you had a pertinent point also in your opening remarks talking about the outfield as you see the foul territory, or that is the outfield, pardon me. But the outfield, you see those little white spots in the outfield, the paler shades of green? Well, that's where the fans had dug up the outfield. You can see the darker shades of green also, and that turf is loose, and it has a tendency to give more, kind of like a throw rug, has a tendency to give more in wet weather than it does in dry weather. And the grounds crew repaired that field for a day game the next day, and of course the rain is kind of good news, bad news to the field. They need the rain for the sod, but it is not holding that well, especially in wet weather.
Here's a stat that might be of interest to you. When Dwight Gooden loses a ball game, his norm is to come back as a Bulldog in the next start.
As a matter of fact, Dwight hasn't lost 2 games in a row since May 25th, 1985. And after losing 2 games in a row, the 25th of May of last year, he won 14 in a row and didn't lose another ball game until August 31st.
The faithful are hurrying now to their seats as we're ready to play baseball, and it came very quickly as the president of the National League, Chubb Feeney, came out and said, roll it off, let's play, and we might be getting another light sprinkle.
And now leading off
this ball game with Bill Doran, Billy Hatcher, and Denny Walling scheduled to lead off. Doran 3 for 16 with a home run, 2 runs batted in. Against Gooden in the opening game, he was 0 for 4. Service now indicating that the front is beginning to weaken some on the back end of it, and they offer some optimism that we might be able to play this ball game without any more heavy rain. So let's hope to goodness they are right. Gooden started Doran with a call strike on the outside corner. The clouds are very low, it is dark, and the lights have been turned on at Shea Stadium. pitch. Both these pitchers need number 2. Nolan Ryan really needs the curveball. If he's got it, he's dynamite. And, of course, if Gooden's got the curveball to go with his fast stuff, he is really something. The fastball is up high. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes to Bill Doran. There is very little wind, and as you can see, the pitching mound is quite dry. There's no danger at the moment of anybody slipping around on it, and that's a foul shot into the Astro dugout. Looks like it might have dinged Bob Nepper. Bob's the one there with the little video camera. He's recording all the action from the series to take home and sit down at his leisure and watch. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Doran. That's high to make it 2-2. The humidity, as it was announced this morning, well up into the 90% area, but the temperature is down in the 70s. There is almost no wind. So it is not uncomfortable. The 2-2 pitch to Doran. Full count. So Gooden goes full, and he's riding that fastball in there about high.
That's one of the big differences. The National League hitters have not been swinging as freely at the high fastball this year as they have in years past.
Over the mound, second baseman Backman. 1 down. Gooden on the season, 17-6 with 200 strikeouts. He had 33 starts and had 12 complete games. And in today's marketplace, 12 complete games out of 33 starts is a high ratio. Billy Hatcher now. Billy has been the swiftest of the Astros and the most opportunistic on the bases. He has 3 stolen bases in the ball game, 3 for 15. And Gooden burns him with a strike called on the outside corner. This year, I think Dwight is less concerned about striking out people than he has been at any time in his career, because he is now in the process at 21 years of age of, as he put it, learning to pitch, not throw. Backman handles this one, and 2 down. So Wally gets the first 2, and it'll be Denny Walling from the left side of the plate.
Well, there's no doubt about it that Gooden can economize his pitches if hitters ground out as opposed to striking out. The only problem with that theory is that hitters don't cooperate all the time. They don't say, well, Dwight wants to extend his career and not throw as many pitches. Well, sure, we'll hit the ground ball right at guys. Hitters don't think like that.
You're going to hear a pretty good argument when Mike Scott pitches the next time. Incidentally, we have the latest pronouncement on the Scott circumstance and the scuffing the ball. I'll give it to you in a minute, even though he's not involved in today's game. Denny Walling steps up, and Gooden is low with it inside. 2 down now, nobody aboard in the top of the first inning in game number 5 of the National League Championship Series. To the right side, Backman slides along and can't come up with it. The ball was sharply hit by Denny Walling, and it slides under the glove of Wally Backman, and Walling's aboard.
Backman, I think, thought he had to dive for the ball when, in effect, I think he could have kept his feet and made the play. Now, see, he dives too far. The ball hits the heel of his glove as opposed to the webbing. Backman cheating a little bit up the middle. He had a pretty good jump on the ball. I guess he did have to dive for it, but actually he dove too far, and the ball hit the heel of the glove. It's a base hit for Denny Walling.
And Glenn Davis is up. It was Davis who hit the home run in the second inning that beat Gooden in the opening game in the Astrodome. And he hits this one high in the air to right center, but it'll stay in the park. Strawberry back at the warning track, one-hands it, and the side is retired. So Walling singles, and Davis lifts a high, lazy fly to right field. Side retired, no score for Houston. The Mets coming up. Is Brannick 6 playing left field. Mookie is 2 for 15. Ray Knight hits number 7 playing third base. Ray 3 for 14 in the series. And Rafael Santana, the shortstop, hitting 8th, 2 for 11, with Dwight Gooden, the pitcher, batting 9th. Outfield, Cruz, Hatcher, Bass, Davis, Doran, Reynolds, Walling inside, Ashby back of the plate, and Nolan Ryan on the mound. As Tim said, went 5 innings, 7 hits, 5 runs, struck out 5, walked nobody in game number 2 in the Dome. Lenny Dykstra is the only New York Met to hit in all 4 games against Ryan. In that second game, Lenny was 2 for 5, and he takes a strike. The key thing I think about Nolan Ryan is whether or not the curveball, he can get it down in that strike zone where he wants it.
One of the big reasons that Ryan was ineffective as a New York Met was his inability to get the curveball over the plate.
He shows it right there, and it looks like he may have something with it today. And in the case of both pitchers, if the curveball is working for him, ooh-wee, look out, they can be a sight.
It's going to be a low-scoring ball game.
Yep. He's got Dykstra at 2 strikes. That's high and away with the fastball. Of course, Ryan knocked Dykstra down in that second game, if you remember, and Lenny got up and they had a staring contest for a bit, and whacko. And a lot of people thought that might have been the thing that triggered the Mets' attack against Ryan. 1-2. Close, but outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The Mets have been very quiet through the first 3 innings in this series. That would have had more meaning, I think, if Jim Shea were pitching today instead of Nolan Ryan. But Ryan's out there, what with the extra day of rest. Ball back in the crowd, 2-2.
Well, the Mets had been probably the least effective against Nolan Ryan in the first 3 innings. Ryan struck out 4, retiring all 9 men to face him down at the Astrodome. And then the Mets finally reached him for 2 runs in the 4th inning, 3 in the 5th, and that chased him. 2-2 with Dykstra.
Gone. That was the fastball, and I mean it was in there quickly and well placed.
Well, that's what that curveball can do. It can get you looking for it to where he slips the fastball by you.
Give you an idea off this composite line score. You can see that Houston has scored a total of 7 runs in the first 2 innings, whereas the Mets in the previous 4 games have not scored until the 4th inning. Wally Backman 3 for 14 against Ryan. He was 2 for 5 and had a stolen base in the series. Fastball called strike. Pretty good at putting the ball on the ground. So is Dykstra for that matter, but Backman in particular will lay that ball down the third base line, and that's why Denny Walling is playing in on the grass right now. It is not wet on the infield right now, but it is so humid and perhaps even a little light sprinkle once in a while passing by that by the time we get to the middle of the ball game, the infield grass is also going to be wet. Keith Hernandez was the 3rd scheduled hitter. He's on deck swinging a bat, loosening up. Ryan to Backman. Inside corner, and it's strike 2. 1-2. He looks strong, doesn't he?
He certainly does. The outfield's so strong that the outfield is playing Wally Backman inordinately to left field. Look at Billy Hatcher. Now, you've got to play Backman the other way, but when a guy's throwing well, you play him even more so the other way.
That pitch is a little low and outside. Ashby.
Good eye, Wally. Good eye.
To the plate umpire, Joe West, with Fred Brocklander at first, Doug Harvey at second, Lee Wire at third, Frank Pulley down the left field line, and Dutch Ritter down the right field line.
Doran at second base could even be farther over towards second, as a matter of fact. He's playing him a little bit too much to pull.
Foul back. Yeah, they're giving him a tremendous amount of room up the middle on the inner defense because Reynolds is toward the hole in left, and Doran is over on the right side, and there's a half an acre in the middle of the infield.
And that's where Backman will hit his ground balls. He will not pull the ball in the air. Only one home run this year, as you look at Hal Lanier. He hit that home run, by the way, on his birthday. Gave himself a nice present.
A 2-2 pitch to Backman. Ashby sort of begged that a little bit. Allen thought it was pretty close, and so did Ryan, but they don't get the call from Joe West. See that catcher sit there and hold it a little while. He's making a statement.
You've heard Jim Palmer, now Michaels, talk about Bob Boone and how well he frames the ball. Alan Ashby and Gary Carter pretty good at doing that also.
That got him. So Nolan Ryan has struck out the first two Mets to face him here in the bottom of the first inning, looking.
Number 17.
Highly unusual to see Backman and Dykstra taking called third strike. They do not only don't strike out a lot, they don't strike out a lot taking. So I guess what you can derive from that is it may be a little bit tougher seeing out there. It is a obviously overcast day, so it might be tough seeing at the plate.
Keith Hernandez, 5 for 15, 2 runs batted in. He has 1 triple. Against Ryan, he was 2 for 3, and he was off Ryan. He hit the triple in game number 2, and Ryan starts him with a strike. Foul ball. I think Hernandez is one of the tough outs in baseball.
Oh, I don't think there's any question about it. He may be the best two-strike hitter in baseball. He, along with Tony Gwynn, the marvelous hitter and all-around player of the San Diego Padres.
Notice also that Keith Hernandez disdains the batting glove. Just up there with hide on wood.
George Brett the same way with the Kansas City Royals. One of the, or two of the few that do not use the hitting glove.
2 strikes on Hernandez, and it was hit to right. Kevin Bass leaned back and then came in on the move to make the catch. So a looping liner caught by Bass, and Nolan Ryan has retired the New York Mets in order at the bottom of the first. And after 1, there is no score at Shea Stadium.
I have brand new ties. This is to prove that even at our age, it is not impossible to change your habits. For example, instead of ordering the same thing every time at your favorite restaurant or tavern, why not ask for a Bartles & James premium wine cooler instead? Its fresh fruit juice and premium white wine make it the perfect refreshment for any occasion. So change a habit today. Get some new shoes, go to work an hour later, and ask for Bartles & James. Thank you for your support.
It'll be Kevin Bass, Jose Cruz, and Alan Ashby scheduled up for Houston in the top of the second inning. And looking out against the stadium, I think you can detect a little light rain starting to fall again.
Number 17.
We've had that little light rain now for 2 days, and that little light rain has managed to make everything pretty wet.
Hate to be a punster, but if anybody loves a day like this, it's Kevin Bass. My fault.
Against Dwight Gooden in the opening game, Kevin Bass was 2 out of 4. He has a pair of doubles in the series, and he has 4 hits and 13 at bats. And Gooden starts him with a strike.
Come on, Dwight.
Ball 1.
That was a straight change. Kevin Bass with a couple of hits, a double and a single off Gooden in game 1. And Dwight trying to do something different to Kevin. He will throw the straight change about 10 times a ball game usually.
Breaking pitch is beat on the ground, and it's foul to the first base coach, Matt Gilani, who throws it out. The statement from National League President Chuck Feeney after meeting with Frank Cashin, the Mets general manager, on Mike Scott's scuffing of the ball, which the Mets are charging, and the New York media is having a ball with. As far as we know, said Chubb, Mr. Scott is not guilty of this infraction. A man is innocent until proven guilty. However, we will be watching closely the next time he pitches and will take appropriate action if necessary. Which is to say nothing has changed. sliced foul off the left side, and that'll go into the crowd out of play.
And which is also to say that nothing will change. I mean, they've had all year to determine whether Scott was scuffing the ball, but because of the playoffs and because of the notoriety, all of a sudden it's hit the front pages. I mean, guys have been complaining about Mike Scott scuffing the ball all year, so really if they haven't done anything about it up to this time, I doubt that one more start they'll do anything about it.
Breaking pitch, pins down low, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes, and there's Michael watching the ball game. He has been the pivotal man so far as far as the Astros are concerned. Dwight Gooden, and Bass hits it up the middle for a base hit. So Bass jumps on the curveball and knocks it into center field for a ground ball single.
Left fielder.
And this will bring up
25.
Jose Cruz.
Jose
Cruz 1 for
Cruz.
4 against Gooden in the opening game. And Jose in the series, 3 hits and 15 trips to the plate.
And remember, Keith, you pointed out in game 1 that Dwight Gooden has allowed 107 stolen bases out of 126 tries throughout his career. He has balked 4 times this year. He leans on that front leg, and when he throws, technically, you've got to go home when you do that. But that is his style in throwing to first base. Bass with good speed.
Big swing by Cruz. High riding fastball. We got a song we're going to try to get in before this is over from the senior trainer, the trainer emeritus of the Astros, Jimmy. It's hilarious about Jose Cruz.
Wonderful.
Strike 1 pitch to the Astros left fielder with Bass edging off first base, and it's way up.
We'll see if Hal Lanier puts the hit and run on, flashing signs to Dennis Menke. Dwight Gooden is not your ideal type of pitcher against whom to hit and run. And the reason for that, the high fastballs are very, very tough to get on top of and to hit the ground ball. And that's one of the prerequisites in a hit and run situation, a pitcher that throws ground balls.
Run Kevin Bass back to the bag. Alan Ashby waiting on deck will turn around today and hit from the left side, the Houston catcher. And Craig Reynolds, number 8 man, the shortstop, also a left-handed hitter. Bass bluffs, doesn't go. Cruz swings, foul tip. Carter holds, throws to first, and no play there. The daylight in the outfield for Jose Cruz, left center.
Glenn Dykstra several steps shading Cruz into right center, and Mookie Wilson in left about straight away.
One-two pitch to Cruz. Bass does not go, and the pitch is sailing outside. The fastball running well off the plate, and it's 2-2. Previous game scores: Houston won the opener 1-0. New York the second 5-1. And New York the third 6-5. Houston the fourth 3-1. And this is game 5. The series even at 2-2.
Gooden can't remember picking off a runner in high school, little league ball, and no wonder. Not too many guys got on against him. Can't work on your pickoff move in your basement.
Runner goes. Cruz hits it up the middle. Looping fly ball. Drops in the outfield. Slows down in a hurry because it's wet out there. And Kevin Bass motors right on around to third base. So the Astros now in the top of the second inning with runners on the corner.
Now batting, number 14.
The fifth straight fastball to Jose Cruz, and he gets just enough of it. You saw the jump that Kevin Bass had off of first base. He had an excellent jump and continues on to third base. And the Astros with a serious threat here in the second.
Bass is the leadoff man on third now, and Cruz at first with Alan Ashby hitting left-handed at the plate. Nobody out, obviously.
Mets infield in double play depth. Kevin Bass, if you remember, with a base running mistake in game 2 against Bobby Ojeda in a similar situation. He was on third and a high chopper by Alan Ashby, and Ojeda made the tag on Bass at home.
The pitch to Ashby. Swung on, hit in the air to the left side. It's curling back. It's right down the line and finally drifts on back into the crowd. I thought we might have another one of those things where it's going to come down in the railing area of the temporary seats, but is well out of play.
I was thinking that same thing. As a matter of fact, as a right-handed hitter, Ashby hit it in that area the other night. Not as deep into the stands, the regular stands. Kind of likes that area down there. Good things happen when he hits it down there.
Fly ball to the outfield, or ground ball to the right side could get Bass home with the first run of the ball game in the top of the second inning. Ball hit to the outfield now is going to hit and slow down in a hurry because it's wet out there, which means the outfielders are going to have to come hard. And in the wet conditions, it's not unlikely one could overrun one, which could come back to haunt them. It's treacherous playing in the outfield, more so than it is inside. Still a lot of empty seats at Shea Stadium because probably a lot of people had given up what with the ominous look of the weather and the forecast as well. Two-strike pitch now is outside, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes to Alan Ashby. They're still coming. Looks like number 7 is bringing him in, doesn't it?
One of the few games where the stadium fills up as the game progresses.
Number 7, of course, being the train that runs to Shea Stadium. Gooden is well high with that pitch, and the count evens at 2-2 now on Ashby. Kevin Bass, the base runner at third, led the inning with a single up the middle. Cruz then came back, singled, had a looping liner to center field for a single, and Bass looped all the way to third base. There he waits. Ashby checked on it, breaking pitch inside, third base. Umpire Lee Wire says no swing.
He didn't appear to go around a wicked curveball, and the ball low, very close, closer than it appeared with the naked eye. Of course, on replays, it looks like everybody swings through them.
Yeah, it does.
I think the appeal play is really a good play for baseball because technically the home plate umpire is blocked out on a ball like that, the breaking ball in the dirt.
So Gooden now has a full count on Alan Ashby. Second time in the ball game. In 2 innings, he's had a full count on a hitter. Take strike 3. Came right back with that breaking pitch and struck him out looking. First out of the inning.
A big strikeout for Dwight Gooden. That pitch is a strike. Remember, Gary Carter catches the ball below the knees, but it's not where the catcher catches it. It's where it goes over the plate. That was a nasty curveball.
Now it's Craig Reynolds, who will try to bring Kevin Bass in from third and give the Astros the first run of the game. Pitcher Ryan on deck.
With the pitcher coming up next, it kind of changes the defense, the infield defense, because unless the ball is hit sharply to second or short, I don't think they'll go for the double play. First or third, they may come home.
Sharply to Backman. Over to Santana, one. Back to first. Double play. And the Astros are all over it as Reynolds is screaming at Fred Brocklander at first base.
What made this play close is the throw that Backman gave to Santana. Watch. See, Santana, that confuses the rhythm of Santana.
He's safe.
He's safe.
He's safe by a half a step.
Yep, coming down.
A half a step. That's a pretty good size miss.
This high performance. Don't just ask for a light beer.
Come on, give me a light.
You asked for it, Steve.
Bud Light!
Yes, Steve. Bud Light, the light beer with the first name and taste.
Don't just ask for a light.
Bud Light, because everything else is just a light, Steve.
Big double play. Cruz couldn't get to Santana, and the throw now. Watch the ball and watch the foot of the base runner.
Oh, yeah. Easy. Safe, easy. As you said, a half a step, maybe more. I think one reason the Astros argued the play, or another reason, was because Fred Brocklander delayed and hesitated before making the call.
It also cost him a run. Gary Carter leads it off for the Mets now. Middle of the order coming up. Strawberry to follow, and then Mookie Wilson against Nolan Ryan. No score in the ball game. Mets batting in the bottom of the second.
Good eye, Gary. Good eye. You got it. Come on, Gary. Hey, deep one.
That's got to be up in the neighborhood of the mid-90s because he went to the top shelf for that one. 1 ball and 1 strike on Gary Carter. 93 miles an hour, according to our radar gun. That's fast enough. Back in the middle, knocked down by Nolan Ryan. I think he got it with his glove instead of the leg. So Nolia will walk it off for a moment, and let's pause 5 seconds so our local stations can identify themselves. One out. Darryl Strawberry comes to the plate. If he had taken that one on the shin bone, we'd have a timeout, but he got his glove on it. Took the sting out of it. Now Strawberry stands up. 4 RBIs for Darryl. But he has struck out 8 times, 2 in each of the first 4 games. And against Ryan, he was 0 for 2. Strike.
Yeah, catchers get hit on the shoulder or the hand. They say rub a little dirt in it and hang with them. If a pitcher gets hit, they ice him down, take him up to the hospital for precautionary x-rays.
Another prejudiced commentary here.
Swing and a miss, and it's strike 2.
Hell, Trader, when guys like you and I started out, and me more than you, and you got a little lump on you, the old trainer would bring a little axle grease out, rub it on you, and it was better that than the tobacco juice. Strike 2 comes with the heater and strikes him out looking. So Ryan now has struck out 3 New York Mets looking. He got Dykstra and Backman and now Strawberry.
This is a pitch and the type of movement on a fastball that until this year Nolan Ryan didn't have. It's that little tailor at the end. Nolan Ryan was always the type of pitcher who just came and blew you away. He's still doing that, but he does have that different fastball that goes away from left-handed batters.
Now Mookie Wilson coming to the plate, left-handed. And Ryan starts him with a high fastball. But I'll tell you one thing about it. When you go out against guys like Ryan and Gooden, ain't no shame in striking out.
No. 4,277 have done it against Nolan Ryan in regulation play.
Outside corner as Mookie checked on it, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. What'd you say that Gooden would have to pitch 17 years and strike out 200 per year in order to match?
That's right.
17 more years.
17 more years.
2-1.
Gooden has 744 strikeouts now. That puts him about 3,500 plus behind Ryan. And to catch Ryan, he would have to pitch 17 more years and average 202 strikeouts a year to catch him.
Of course, he had that one big year, what, 389 or something like that?
383 in 1973 to pass Sandy Koufax, who struck out 382.
2-2. Mookie turns around and moans a little on that one. I don't know whether he's saying, what are you calling, or I can't hit that thing. What are the others? But he did not like the call. Two down. And it's a full count.
I'll tell you that when you saw Alan Ashby put one finger down and put it in a circle, that is the pitch. That is the signal for the pitch. Now this is going to be a fastball inside, but the signal for the pitch that goes away.
Well, he struck out 4 now as he gets Mookie Wilson swinging, and he has retired the first 6 Mets that he has faced. And after 2 innings of play in Game 5 of the National League Championship Series at Shea Stadium, it is 0-0. Back to Shea Stadium, and Dwight Gooden pitching now to Nolan Ryan, Bill Doran the top of the order, and Billy Hatcher. They'll represent the second time around against the Doctor. And Gooden gets a strike on Ryan to start him. Outside, making 1 and 2. Gooden against the Astros had 3 starts in 1986 during the regular season, had 2 complete games. Ball is fouled away to the right side, but in his career he's been dominant. 8-1 against them.
He debuted against the Houston Astros down at the Astrodome. The New York Mets flew in his parents from Tampa, Dan and Ella Gooden, and he won, pitching 5 innings.
At 1-2, and Ryan takes strike 3.
Speaking of Nolan Ryan, remember the 2-2 pitch to Mookie Wilson? There it is, the wiggle right there. That's the 3-2 pitch. That's the fastball inside. And that is the pitch that tails away from Mookie Wilson. Nope, wasn't the fastball inside.
The wrong pitch. That was a 3-2 pitch. 2-2 where he took it outside.
Yep, the 2-2 pitch, but it is the one finger down, and the wiggle is that unusual pitch.
After back to the mound. And Gooden throws him out. Bill Doran is down for the second time. 2 out. And here's Bill Hatcher. Game 6 of the American League Championship Series, California Angels and the Boston Red Sox at Fenway on tap tonight, 8 Eastern Time, weather permitting. Curveball, lowered away, ball 1. Hatcher bounced out to Beckman. His first time up today. Hatcher, a former Cub. Hit on the ground sharply. Santana cannot get to it, and it's into center field for a base hit. So Hatcher has his 4th hit of the series. A single to center. When that ball gets to the outfield grass, it really slows down, doesn't it?
Surely does. You can watch for Billy Hatcher to run here, and with 2 out, it's better for a runner to run early in the count to give Denny Walling a chance to hit. He doesn't mind taking one pitch to allow Hatcher to run, but you don't want to work yourself into a two-strike position in the process of allowing Hatcher to run.
No score in the ball game. The Astros batting in the top of the third inning, and they blew a glorious opportunity to score back in the second. That play at first is fairly close. So the Astros would say to you that the first base umpire blew their opportunity to score, as it appeared from every replay we had that the base runner Reynolds had beaten out the throw to finish up an inning-ending double play. Houston now with 4 hits off Gooden. The Mets have no hits.
This is how close that play was. A good throw by Gooden. That has a lot to do with it as to whether you pick a runner off. Not only do you have to deliver it quickly, but it has to be about 6 inches off the ground so the first baseman can apply the tag quickly.
All right, Walling up had a single his first time up in the first inning and was left on base. Hatcher driven back one more time by Gooden. They fully expect him to go early. And suddenly it gets very bright out here. I mean, there's almost the possibility of a ray of sunshine. That pitch was up around the shoulder level of Keith Hernandez, the first baseman, and almost no, he didn't bother to try a tag on that one because simply had too far to go with the ball.
You rarely see a pickoff move, as you saw Gooden bend that left leg and then hop to first. That's the old Dodger pickoff move, perfected by Don Drysdale. He had a good one. Only time I ever saw a balk called on the winder was called by Chris Pellicudis back in the middle 60s.
Once again, they run Hatcher back. 2 down for Houston here in the top of the third. Gooden and Hernandez right now playing catch with Billy Hatcher, the object.
Hey, it used to be that if you threw to first base a number of times, you would never even think about calling a pitch out. But that's changed for the better. They're trying to combat guys who can run any way they can. And now if you throw to first base, it's not a sign that the catcher won't pitch out.
Hatcher bluffs, doesn't go. Walling hits the ball in the left center field. Mookie Wilson coming across, makes the catch. And the side is retired. So the Astros have now stranded 3 base runners, and in the middle of the third inning, there is no score.
We're not a company, but outstanding people come to us every day. People who want to make a contribution to a team and do work that really counts. People eager to see new places, do the unusual, and find the unusual. People who become your friends for life. People just like you. We're not a company. We're your country. We're the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines, the Army.
And Dwight Gooden now are scheduled to face Nolan Ryan. No score in the ball game, and the Mets come up in the bottom of the third inning. Knight 3 for 14 in the series, and against Ryan in the opener, he was hitless in 2 trips. Now ball back on the wire. Of all the Mets, Ray Knight seems the one more resigned to the fact as to so what on Mike Scott's story. If it's in the strike zone, you ought to be able to hit it.
Ray also one of the unsung leaders on this ball club. He does a lot of behind-the-scenes things that are very stabilizing to this club.
Ryan having retired the first 6 Mets he's faced. And we're just almost into a sunny state. Boy, there's a blazer. And Knight put his Sunday punch on it and came away empty. And Ryan is now struck out 5.
Number 3.
Sunday punch, quite appropriate when you talk about Ray Knight. Ray was the initiator of 2 fights this year. The Mets were in 5 on-the-field fights. And when Mike Tyson, the aspiring heavyweight, came to Shea Stadium, he wanted to meet one Met. That was Ray Knight.
Curveball to Santana. The Mets shortstop misses outside. Ball 1. Swing and a miss to make it 1-1. Well, Nolan Ryan is one of those that he's been around long enough now, and he's not only reached legendary posture in the game, but perhaps even you could call him a statesman of the game at 39. What with the success he's had. 1-1 pitch to Santana. Curve is just outside. But he now talks freely about the fact that he probably was, or felt at least, force-fed, rushed a little bit, hurried along in 1968. And he didn't have the necessary mechanics to sustain him until later in his career. It's 2-2 now for Santana.
Well, he was drafted as the 295th player in the country back in 1965. And trying to break in on the New York market, obviously very tough. He didn't have his curveball then. Traded to the California Angels for Jim Fregosi. A remarkable career followed.
Sharply hit, but the second baseman Goran is right there and throws out Santana. Santana nailed the ball twice against Ryan. It's just the second game down to home, but all the first time up, Goran made a spectacular play to get him. Now Dwight Gooden, the pitcher. 2 down. Just low. Crowd still coming in. More and more seats being filled as the weather grows brighter and brighter. One and one to Dwight Gooden. This game, like so many of the others, starting rather quietly.
Nolan Ryan retired the first 10 Mets the first time he faced them. And he's retired 8 today in a row.
There's another strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes now on Gooden. Well, Houston has had the habit of jumping to the front, and they should have in this ball game and could have.
First and third and nobody out. And failed to score in the second.
That's 6 strikeouts now for Nolan Ryan, and he retires the first 9 Mets in order. And after 3 innings of play, there's no score.
Nothing makes your day like helping others make it on their own.
You bring out the pride we all feel inside.
It's going to be easy next week.
It's more than just a job you do. You make America work, and this buzz for you.
Good work.
Here's to you, Beechwood Aged, for that clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
This buzz for you. Listen to the heartbeat of America. Listen to the heartbeat.
When it's time for a change, put yourself in today's Chevy Cavalier and listen to your heartbeat.
The heartbeat of America. That's today's Chevrolet.
Hello.
For you, we have shadows. The sun has peeked through for a moment. And if we should get a period of bright sunshine, that outfield will dry out pretty quick. And we move rather quickly in the game to the top of the 4th inning for Glenn Davis, Kevin Bass, and Jose Cruz. No score. Davis, a fly ball that Strawberry caught on the warning track at about 370 feet. This one is hit hard to left. Mookie Wilson started in and then had to put on the brakes and stop and make the catch. And you notice that Mookie, in making that stop, did it rather gingerly.
I'll tell you, Glenn Davis is only 4 for 16 in the series, but no player on either side is locked in like Davis. I still think he may be. He has been with the home run in Game 1 a major factor, and he may be a major factor in the last 3 ball games. He is swinging the bat very well.
Ray Knight with a call for the sunglasses. Mookie Wilson, you saw, has his out in left field. That's the troublesome deal as far as the sun is concerned in Shea Stadium. And Kevin Bass at the plate, strike one. Bass had a single and got around to third with nobody out, but stayed there. Back in the 2nd inning. 1-1. Santana. 2 down.
And now coming to the plate.
I guess he's going to keep his shoes. In case you don't know that story, Tim offered him a pair of shoes the other day that he was wearing if he'd do an imitation of Sammy Davis Jr., which he did, and he took the shoes.
I thought it was a big joke, but he kept my shoes. I thought I was going to get my shoes back. He kept them. Same size, 10.5. History.
Timeout for a moment as we've got beach ball bounding down from the upper level and into the lower level. And they'll puncture that one probably and get rid of it. With 2 down, Jose Cruz, who also singled back in the 2nd inning, and it was his single that moved Bass to third. This time he's a little bit farther to the left with it, right at Santana, who throws him out. So the doctor gets him in order at the top of the 4th inning after 3.5. There is no score between the Astros and the Mets.
A manager is forced to play 2 pitchers at the same time. He plans to use one in the outfield while the other pitches, rotating the 2 when the situation calls for it. Can he do this? You make the call. If you said so, then you made the right call.
10 years ago, a big engine.
Well, it's awesome that we're just playing, period, considering the weather over the last few hours. I really didn't think we'd have a shot at it today, but lo and behold, here we are with some sunshine on the field, and it's the 2nd time around now for the New York Mets. Nolan Ryan has retired the first 9 he's faced. It'll be Dykstra, Backman, Hernandez in the bottom of the 4th inning. This has been an inning in which the Mets have done some of their scoring throughout this series, and Dykstra, who struck out looking the first time, jumped at the first pitch and fouls it back. It was in the 4th in that 2nd game that the Mets got after him a little bit. Two strikes, and he went fishing for the breaking pitch that time. Ryan, in that opening stanza, the opening first 3 of the 2nd game, he struck out, what, 5 of the first 7? Tonight, game we were talking about a little while ago, all Ken Boyd going for the home club, and Kirk McCaskill getting the call for the California Angels. Probably Angels didn't sleep much until last night after they traveled across the country after what happened to them on Sunday. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Dykstra. Hatcher shading him a little left to the flagpole. Swings and misses, and for the second time in the ball game, Dykstra has struck out.
That is 7 strikeouts for Nolan Ryan. We talk about his career. 158 times he has struck out 10 or more in a regular season ball game. And as remarkably, 21 times he struck out 15 or more in a regular season ball game.
Backman struck out looking his first time. Hernandez to the on-deck circle. Third baseman Walling is creeping in at third, well on the grass, as Wally swings and fouls it upstairs. Davis is just on the edge of the grass at first, and Walling is about 2 steps in at third. And Backman swings and misses on a breaking pitch. So Ryan edge, strike 2. Foul ball left side.
Well, you can see from the signs that Alan Ashby gave, he gave 4 signs, and Nolan Ryan, one of the pitchers that stares off the catcher. A lot of times you don't have to shake your head to not want to throw that pitch. You can just stare off the catcher until you get the sign you want. Now that's that pitch that goes away from the left-hander. Watch.
Went a little too far. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Wally Backman. He's retired 10 in a row.
That obviously the curveball.
Well, he put out 2 fingers and then dropped 1.
So he probably stared off the curveball and went to the fastball.
Les Moss, former catcher there standing with Hal Lanier, is the pitching coach. Million stories in him, too. 2-2 to the Mets second baseman. Fly ball left field. Cruz with the glasses down. Makes the catch. Tough field. Tough with the sun out. 2 down. And here comes Hernandez. He hit the ball pretty well. First time up. Lined sharply to the right side that Bass took lean back and then came in to get. Breaking pitch, just misses.
The only ball the Mets have hit hard so far was Gary Carter's one hopper knocked down by Ryan, and Gary, of course, retired to lead off the second inning. That's the only ball that they have really stung.
That's fouled off. Gary on deck. Houston had a man on third, nobody out. Kevin Bass back in the second inning, didn't get him on. Oh, there's no score. Foul left side. He's only shown the big curveball twice. once for a strike and once for a ball. There are times when that rainbow comes in there. I mean, it just is awesome.
It can lock you.
Yep.
Because you've got to be ready for the fastball. You got to look fastball against Ryan. As you get the curve, try to adjust. You can't go the other way.
All right, it's 2-2 on Hernandez. Davy Johnson on the first base side, where the Mets dugout is located.
Come on, Keith! Let's go next.
Full count. Ryan tried to twice to get him to bite on that running fastball outside, and he wouldn't do it. He set the first 11 down in order. He struck out Backman on a 3-2 pitch. And he strikes out Fernandez on a little foul tip that is held by Ashby, so he has retired 12 in a row. And that is strikeout number 7 for the Express, Nolan Ryan. After 4 complete innings, no score. Game 5 of the National League Championship Series.
Bud Thunder. It's revved up and coming at you.
I'm told that the weather has brightened some in Boston, and they've taken the tarp off the field there. So apparently they're optimistic about getting the ball game underway up there on its schedule.
See that area right up there? That is the K corner. And, of course, the guys have just arrived with their Ks. I guess they got caught up with the weather. But this year, of course, Dwight Gooden striking out only 200, and that's an unusual year for him. But no K corners. Kind of strange to be here at Shea and not see the Ks going up.
Well, they only need to hang out 2 so far.
That's right. Nolan Ryan should be in the right field corner. They'd hang out 8 for him.
That's right. That's a fair ball for Alan Ashby. Strawberry to the corner. The throw. He's in there. Double. Strawberry came down. The ball did not get all the way to the corner, but Darrell seemed to have a little trouble getting a handle on it.
With a guy like Gooden pitching, you have to give the hitters the lines because they are not as prone to pull the ball down the line as they would against most pitchers. Now watch Strawberry. He gets to the ball in a hurry, but the throw is late, and Alan Ashby has a double. Strawberry also not playing Ashby to pull. So for the second time in this game, the Astros have their leadoff runner on.
And also in scoring position for Craig Reynolds, who was on the bottom end of the inning-ending double play back in the second. Matt Galante, who is a man of considerable foundation, had to hang on to Reynolds a little while ago because Craig was really screaming. That was back in the second. This is now the top of the 5th. And Ashby off second as Gooden pitches to Reynolds, and it's hit to the left side into left field, base hit. Mookie Wilson comes in a hurry. Ashby is held at third.
Good pitching, Dwight.
So Reynolds goes in the hole the opposite way, and Nolan Ryan, the pitcher, coming up.
With nobody out, Dennis Menke holds Alan Ashby, who is not a fast runner. He holds him at third base. And now what I think you may see is a straight sacrifice. Rather than sacrificing a safety squeeze or anything like that, You just sacrifice as though there were no men on third base. Chuck Tanner has an interesting variation to this play with a guy who can run at third base. He will have whoever's bunting the ball, bunt the ball down to the third baseman. The runner follows the third baseman in, and when the third baseman makes the throw to first, the runner walks home. Seen Tanner and the Atlanta Braves do that very well and very often.
Knight creeping in at third. Hernandez hanging around first, trying to hold Reynolds as close as possible. Now we'll watch Ashby and see whether or not he travels along with Knight as Ray comes in at third. Bluffs it. Bunt is back to the mound. Gooden picks it up, throws to second, and they get Reynolds coming down from first. And Ryan is on at first on the fielder's choice, and the base runner is held at third. Bunted it a little too hard.
And too much back to Gooden. Gooden, even though he turns the wrong way, watch him turn to the right. And he has to make an awkward throw to second base. He turns to the right, and now he makes the tailing throw. But another example of what a good athlete Dwight Gooden is. You see, Alan Ashby does not possess the speed of a guy at third base where you're going to make a play like that, nor is the bunt too nice.